If you essentially change your diet for the better, you not only lose weight and your skin clears and all that jazz, but you feel healthier, you feel happier, your mood actually improves. What does that say? It says that God has put healing in food, even emotional healing. There are chemicals likely that are released by food that bring actual joy into your bones, and the foods that bring joy into your bones, that make you lighter on your feet and thus happier, are those that are regarded by the professionals of this world within the industries that they work in as healthy foods. Fruits, vegetables, seeds, certain herbs, like spices, you get my point. When you consume these, over time, you will discover that you are healthier, happier, even in mind, and are less depressed. But listen, for me in particular, I find that the consumption of my superfood shot brings me laughter at the sky, so high up above, I'm singing in the rain, yeah. Ba-da-ba-da-da-boo, ah! It's like Red Bull, it give me wing. But as opposed to Red Bull, it's just my drink. It gives me, there's energy. No, not energy, joy. Like, joyful, Lord, we adore you. For some chia seeds, yes, you did them. You brought me so much joy through fenugreek. Fill me with the light of joy. Joyful, God, I am grateful for these hibiscus leaves in my belly. Give me rosemary forever, then I will have the light of joy. And joyful, Lord, I adore you. For some black pepper in my drink. Cayenne pepper now is from you. Fill me with the light of joy. Yeah, grateful to God for giving us food, because God knows that food has power to go and grab somebody crying. Oh man, it's so sad to be me. And then go. It's like spinachy sa Popeye. Hey? You eat it, next thing you be strong. You eat it, you drink it, next thing you get a kick in your system. Think about recreational drug use. It's using natural things from the ground, however, that have got hallucinogenic properties in them. So no, God said be sober, be vigilant. For your adversary, the devil, prances around like a roaring lion, seeking whomever he may devour. God does not want us drunk. He does not want us grabbing grapes in order to intoxicate ourselves from fermenting them and so making wine. He does not want us to get drunk on strong drink, but he is aware that certain of the things, the plants of the earth, can bring about highs. The things of the earth can bring about states of inner sobriety. In, what is the word that I'm looking for? In excessive measure, when consumed excessively. And so they need to be, what is the thing that I'm talking about? Moderated, right? As soon as a human being discovers that mushrooms make them hallucinate, don't take mushrooms. They're dangerous. They don't make no sense. When you start to use them recreationally so you can escape thinking so soberly, on that day you are sinning. But getting wine, in the Bible, God, it is written that it is healthy for some to basically kind of calm, not so much calm nerves. Drinking wine to calm nerves is problematic, but to deal with ailments in the body, food is medicine. So even those which are not so much intoxicating properties of plants, but the word that I'm looking for here is not intoxicating. I'll get back to the point that I was looking for. Not so much intoxicating properties, but anestheticing, like pain-reducing properties of certain medication, not medications, but foods, are there in order to indeed help people in distress when they've been cut, when they're in surgery, when they need to recover, but they're not to be used recreationally. They're not to be used in Jeffela just to get because this thing takes away pain. It numbs you. So you don't have to think about the world. So human beings went and grabbed food. They went and grabbed the herbs of the earth and they made themselves high. They made themselves intoxicated. And that is the problem. That is the error. And some foodstuffs have extremities of potency in them. And that's why they need to be in responsible measure utilized for the purpose of healing human beings, for the purpose of making them indeed forget about the season of time when you're stitching a wound back together again. Maybe in that season, you can give somebody a mushroom to make them think about something else, pretty much like an anesthetic. But once doctors innovated anesthetic, you don't have an excuse to just be out to taking shrooms because you've cut yourself or whatnot. You need to go to a doctor who will then put you under and then like sew you back together again and then send you on your merry way type establishment thing. But other foods that aren't intoxicating nonetheless have got properties in them that create euphoria in human bodies, and I can vouch for that. They've got properties in them that create euphoria in human bodies, and in small measure it's a slow release of euphoria. And not for me personally, it happens because in the morning my stomach tends to be completely empty. First thing that I bring in there, I drink this shot and there is joy. I drink this shot and there is joy that comes into me, and that joy makes me realize, wait again, Romans 1 is true, it's never been more true. The invisible qualities of God are all over creation. And so you are without excuse when you ignore that God is. Because what can account for a health drink? Improving your mood. Even if it's just for half an hour. Even if it's just for the hour that is coming. It says that the Lord gives joy in all that which he has made that is good, including food. And when then you take care of yourself, your temple, more so are you going to experience joy from food, because it's going to literally be induced in your body where it'll recalibrate pretty much whatever might be the chemical constitution inside your body until you feel a sense of euphoria, until you feel a sense of joy. And I drink a drink every day, a shot that I drink every day that brings me euphoria, even if it's like for 5 minutes, half an hour. But after drinking that drink, y'all, it works marvelously. And then I was just trying to take it in order to grow hair. I was just trying to take it to clear skin. I was just trying to take it as a shot, a booster, so that my immune system is kept in a bunch. Mara, after taking that drink, I'm like, joyful, joyful, Lord, I adore you. I am happier. Even if it's for 5 seconds, I could be going through hell on earth. But after taking that shot, 5 minutes later, I'm like feeling a little better. I wash the dishes with so much tranquility, with so much peace. It's not a drug, it's a health drink. It's not a drug, it's a health drink, and it's proof that God is in everything. He is good, and he knows how to give you quick wins. Anyway, whatever. Thanks to that drink, thanks to me starting to work out and needing to basically budget like no man's business. Thanks to me needing to budget like no man's business because I'm broke like a Lego, whatever. I came up with the idea to drink that drink every morning as a first starter for the day, just to get my immune system going, just to get my digestive system going. Type establishment thing, and it gives me joy. It actually does. So ever since discovering that this thing has got joy producing properties in it, I can't be without that drink. I can't. And God himself has made sure that I always have access to my drink. Money is a thing. I can't drink my drink at the concentrations that I wanted, as much of whatever it is that is in it as I want to be in it, because of financial restrictions. But I have the one shot a day. It's like a glass. Like I put a whole bunch of these things in my drink. I stir them up, leave them in the refrigerator. I drink one. It's about like a glass full every day. And then I also have the mixture thingy. I mix it. I mix it in like a container, so as to make it every single week when I need to make it afresh, like these dry ingredients. I mix them, and I also put it in my 2 cups of coffee that I drink 2 cups of coffee. I would only drink 1 cup of coffee a day if I wasn't always fasting, but I would just be too hungry like all the time. So I drink 2 cups of coffee to basically kind of deal with the hunger pangs when I am fasting. And in my coffee, I'm always like, ooh, did you like my coffee? It's so spicy. You know how sometimes when I have coffee and I'm drinking it in front of you, I'm like, look at my spicy coffee. My coffee is spicy because I put like herbs and spices and whatnot in there. It's got my concoction in it, and my coffee also gives me this joy, this maintained joy. And then after my last cup of coffee, I then go through several hours of like hunger, and then I eat the 1 meal a day, and that gives me more euphoria. And thank God that my mom cooks quite healthily. And I don't know what I do to myself. I don't know what I do to myself. If at all it was within my own prerogative to cook my own food, I feel like I might just eat trash. Like, yeah, I eat better only because that's what my mom cooks. Anyway, so I've been benefited, haven't I, by poverty? It's made sure that I can't just have my chocolate cake every day as I desire. Okay, yeah, type establishment thing. So that's how it is that I'm maintained. So everything contributes to my well-being and my health. And this shows that God really is. Mara, these things have gone crazy expensive. These ingredients that I learned from these excellent advisors on the internet machine. As to drink this, mix this particular concoction before you exercise, and it'll function as a natural protein shake. Instead of buying a protein shake from the store, make it using linseed. Use natural sources like a vegan protein shake. I'm not pedantic about veganism or whatever. But like a lot of the counsel that I got was like, keep it plant-based and it'll be like really happy for you. Whatever, I don't care about plant-based. Insofar as it's just healthy. So yeah, I took all this advice, I took all this counsel, and I made this drink. And I've never regretted making this drink. I can never be without this drink. Every so often I run out of, like, I'm so broke and I sometimes don't have any money, and my shake, my mixed together like ingredients tend to last me like 3 to 4 months. How do you feel? Sometimes it's dry like a desert, and there's nothing coming for me. It's just really arid in these streets, and all that I'm left with is just taking what I can and like pinching it. Like recently I've just been pinching it, right? Just pinching it, you guys, to last me as long as it can. Never has the Lord ever let me run out of my baseline foundational powder. Like I call it, it's like a powder that I make out of mixing a whole bunch of herbs together. I've never run out. Like the widow as therapist. I have never run out, even if I don't have all the ingredients present. I always have enough to give me that boost. There's always, there will either always be linseed available with maybe a little bit of chia here, a little bit of fenugreek, a little bit of cayenne, or there will always be cocoa with a little bit of this and that or what. Even if I'm at the end of myself, and of course there are those ingredients that are always mojarate, like we undermine tea so much. We underestimate because it's always been around, you know, like 5 roses. No one makes tea better than 5 roses. You underestimate 5 roses ale and the herbs they're in. Yeah, tea is always available. And so there was a time when there was always green tea, but then that stopped being available all the time. I guess my mom is fancy sometimes, and then she just stops being fancy. So my 5 roses will always be here, and there's also always to a certain extent like turmeric, because my mom uses it to cook. And there's also always, based on my mom's purchases, like dill and cumin. There's also always like rosemary, because that's what my mom uses to cook. Some of the other ingredients that are a little bit more, you know, fancy. I'm used to fancy. Those I have to get myself. And the price, yalla. What's happened? What's happened ever since? I can't even say coronavirus, but just the past year. Just the past year. I don't know what's going on. I tended to go for the ingredients that are the cheapest. Some of the stuff I wanted to buy, but I was like, I can't afford it, right? So I went for those that were like, you know, among the cheapest. Like I would go for moringa. There came a time when I went to this game jella, and I just do the cocoa. What's so expensive about cocoa? Hey, I would go there and I'd be like, why cocoa? It took all. Hey, cinnamon was one of the cheapest spices you can find. Yo, let's just show you what I'm talking about. Because listen, y'all know I can swag for hours. So we just getting started. But my argument, my discussion is gonna lead to help you understand. This is what you're doing to your own country. These are the alternatives that God is awarding the remnant. For in days of famine, we enjoy plenty. But I mean, are South Africans not members of the famine? Aren't they enduring the famine? Is your whole nation not enduring a famine? I am enjoying plenty. But listen, your South Africa is in a most severe situation. And if at all people cannot pump money into their own economy, hey guys, you're in danger. The other day I told you, I went to Cradlestone Mall with my mom some time ago before, then come in November, so last year. Saturday, on a Sunday at around 1 p.m., which is usually after people are back from church and whatnot, and it was so empty. It was so empty. And on New Year's Eve, 5, 4, 3, 2, because I was out here hanging out in these streets all by myself. No, not feeling sorry for myself, because I'm always walking on sunshine. Oh, except not really. I make it work. I wasn't really feeling sorry for myself, but I was all by myself on New Year's Eve, and I decided that I'm gonna go outside to go and carve the fireworks display of the country, of my neighborhood, because people are obviously gonna go and plant out and cricket sands. Yo guys, I was out of my mind shocked as to how few people were actually twansering in the sky. It was loud, of course. Gee, papa, you heard the bombs going and everything. In my own complex, almost every house was lit, in the sense that they were awake. There was nobody having a bride. I did not hear anybody saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in my neighborhood. Last year, I heard neighbors 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was also a pub open down the road here somewhere, that you could hear 5, 4 from there. And then the fireworks, there were a lot more, and like there was quite a bit of activity even outside. Like where we stay, we're just by the electric fence, by the fence. So you know, cars be like vroom right here. And a lot of times you hear activity like kostate because people get out of their complexes and they go on the street and they celebrate happy, whatnot. Listen, it was so quiet. It was so quiet. It was so quiet. There was only one family in my complex that was actually lighting fireworks. Everyone else, while they were awake, I could tell because their lights were on, because I took a walk around the complex. They were awake, their lights were on, but no one was outside, no one was having a braai, no one was lighting fireworks, no one was like 542 on their beat. They were basically just inside watching TV, basically just like, yeah, just like me. And I remember just being like, cool, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Listen, I should be alone. I mean, I am going through hell on earth by myself. I have an anomalous life just by me, Safi. It's only me that's going through this, except no. It's South Africa. They can't afford fireworks. It's too much of an expense. They are not celebrating. There was barely anybody on New Year. There was barely anybody on New Year's Eve. Happy 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Though they were all awake, I could see from Mabona Awa they were on in the house. And then today, the 2nd Jan, and listen, it's a Saturday. Well, no, it was a Friday. Sorry, I was in the streets. I went out, right, in the wilderness, hopping like a kangaroo. I went to the wilderness out there, and it was so empty on the streets. Yeah, Giddy Seconds Jan. It's still public holiday. Not public holiday, but it's still the holidays. Mara, what I did not expect to see was how empty the center where I went to go and buy the stuff, including the supermarket place. I was surprised to see how empty it was, because this is when people start to go and buy children's, uniforms and what have you for school. And a lot of people tend to flood to the shop after Christmas, because that's when sales happen. Like people who aren't paparing, basing forward, a lot of times after Christmas. There's the after Christmas crowd, you know that. Those that like be out needing a sale or whatever. They wait for Christmas. They be out exchanging gifts. Like don't get too deep, right? Type thing. I'll buy you what you need, Mara. Let's wait for Jan. Yeah. So stores would still be kind of packed. There was time in history when they were kind of packed after New Year's, after Christmas. Guys, it was just dead quiet. First, barely anybody burned the cricket. And secondly, the streets have just been crazy empty. I never went out before Christmas to just go check out Rojang, but I do remember around November, with Christmas decorations already being up at Cradlestone Mall, going there on a Sunday afternoon after church, which is a lot of times when people go for post-church lunch at malls. And it was also around payday. It was like around the 26th or something, that particular month. And listen, the mall was empty, and I already rocked up and I spoke about that in my video, and I was like, something's going on in the South African economy. Yeah, Mon, listen to South Africa, our nation. What is the point of it being so beautiful and the malls being so gorgeous and our streets being so... Listen, my country is pretty when it's not busy being violent. Do you understand? What's the point of having a beautiful terrain, land flowing with milk and honey, when you are so corrupt that people can't even go out and enjoy it? Like, what is the point? That is what is going on in these uneasy streets. So anyway, Ngamhlanje, Lena, I then go to like the strata to go and get these intozam. And first, I purchased skincare, right? I was gonna buy my skincare from Temu, but I got scared that what if I can't afford to take it out for duties again? Or what if I get like taken over, not taken over. What if I lose self-control and I don't save enough money for duties? Let me just go to Chinatown and just buy everything of mine from, let me go and buy everything of mine from a local store, and not insist on getting into Temu and happy. I've run out of not so much retinol serum, but I've run out of retinol, like my night cream. I've been using a day cream for busiku, right? So I want my day cream. Kibata day cream, yes, sisters. My thing has been jagged. It's on edge, like all of you. I want it to hang that a heart may be true. Evidently looking at all of you, so that it can be clear that the Lord is mine. Ooh. Anyway, fine, we're done over there. I wanted a face cream for busiku, lest I should start like having a reaction on my face for using a day cream at night or using too much kojic acid on my face, because my day cream get kojic acid. Yeah, so I had to just, and I didn't want to wait for the one that would arrive from Temu. I didn't want to wait however long, like 2 weeks. And even then, what if I can't pay duties? What if I've lost self-control and I just like did not save any money for duties, or I did not save enough for duties and I have to wait another however long? Am I just going to be out of skincare? So I made a decision that and I knew that I had to go to Chinatown first. That's where I get all my skincare. Like I told you, I ditched Dischem like it was a hot potato. I just I stopped shopping at Dischem once I discovered cheap skincare from the street. and really high quality skincare as well, but never so much food. Dijo. That is something that happened a little bit later on. So yeah, so I went and I bought my skincare, and then I also went and my body was so inebriated. I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain that I just wanted to throw in the towel. I wanted to give up, and I just wanted to go home. And I also wanted to maybe go to discount. Like, I was basically like saying, essentially be lazy to do what I knew that I would have to do. I would have to essentially and start to carefully peruse aisles of a grocery store, scanning them left and right, almost like Inspector Clouseau or Magoo with my magnifying glass, to go and identify the criminal activity of the South African deep state, to discover what the corporate beasts, the predatory pricing, is doing. Like Inspector Clouseau, Magoo, and Poirot, I will find them out by purchasing the same product for a quarter of the price, yet for grander quantity, but it is still high quality, that it might be clear that South Africa is operating in nothing but the deep state corruption. I realized that I had to do that, and so my spirit was just bereft, and I was tired. I was like, I'm sick and tired of always just being like this investigative journalist against this country. And then next thing, nobody watches my content, and everybody's so jealous. They're all so crazy. They want me to marry an ugly guy, and on top of that, they want me pregnant out of wedlock. I don't care. But at the end of the day, girl, that shot you need it. You need your drink, and you're out of ingredients. You're on your last remnants, and your mother's probably gonna come back from holiday, so you're not gonna have free access to the car. And the shop, the skin products is only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday. This side, other days of the week, she goes to another place. So it's today or never, Inspector Poirot. So I decided to go, but my body, attack. And no, he was all up in my grill. I was just singing a dirge while I'm trying to sing a psalm, hymn, and a spiritual song to the Lord. Satan was like, over me a dead body. And I was like, but you are dead, Mosh. So what you mean dead body? You are going to go and pass away a second dead. So what you mean over your dead body? You are already dead, Mosh. Anyway, the devil was like, over my dead body you are before you go and rejoice. But then I went and stopped being lazy, and I made like Inspector Clouseau, and I discovered yet again more corruption from South Africa. And here it is. Y'all don't know what time it is. Wait again. Remember, first and foremost, one of these crazy people with all their corruption. You say I'll never buy again. Brother, I purchased. What you do? What you gonna say? Here in live proof every day and said Jesus Christ is Lord. He gave me money, and now I purchase. Even though you try to make like Antichrist and say that I will never buy nor sell again. I go and purchase. What you gonna do? No repent? And do you have dark ages then? Go out through your time of horribleness. Go through your time of darkness. Or 24-hour days just pitch as black. Nothing, no light piercing through into your bedroom. You will live in the dark all the day long. Because why you gonna kick out people who prove that Jesus Christ is Lord anywhere? So I went and I purchased my face care. But I also went and I purchased my body care. In other words, the care that comes into my body. My drinks, the thing that I used, my concoction, and I'm going to show you now what it is. And of course, you know, Inspector Clouseau, all of my experiences, my trips, everything I do, always just comes back to South Africa. South Africa. Why you going to be so corrupt? Why you going to be so corrupt? Who are you? Who's your brother? Who's your mother? Who raised you? Why you going to be so corrupt? Why you going to spend so little money? Go and purchase stock, and then sell it for like 2,000% inflation. So much mock-up. What? South Africa. Why you do it? You are rotten. Like the potato. In a sack, you're going to destroy all other potato. South Africa. Why are you so corrupt? That's all I could say. And imagine when I'm not here in front of the camera, I'm not that jocose. I'm just upset. I'm just angry. Like I'm steaming. Like proper. My nose is like fumes. I just like it's like a bubbling furnace in my heart, and my nose is like I'm angry right now. Like this is satire. This is parody. This is making light of a very dire situation. Do you understand? This is making light of a most dire situation. But I was just like out of my mind. I had to. Like, you see, God is so providential. He orders things in a way so as to make me experience a dichotomy in a day, like a lake right next to a volcano, like two contrasting extremes to make me realize, oh, anomaly, there is corruption. Two contrasting extremes that I might experience the veracity of corruption by enabling me to endure or undergo or go through a space where there is no corruption, and then right next to one where there is just a bountiful amount of it, vats upon vats, overflowing of corruption. And I'm like, how's gonna be the day and night like that to hey, where are the remnants? I need to know. Tell me, I need to go and discover the 7,000 others that not go be nailed to Baal, because everywhere else is just rotten. Why can't we find each other? The whole country has not been handed over, okay? True story. But enough of it is. And too much of it. And it tends to be legs of the nation that aren't even truly of South Africa, in the sense that they are extraneous, they're foreign. They tend to maintain a sort of kind of like fairness. It's like there is an exploitation of South African corruption by those that are not from here. And they're coining it big time. They're killing it and kicking it big time. Structures that recognize that they live in a very corrupt country are how can I describe how very smart people are exploiting the corruption of the South African market? It's like, no, I can't really say, no, it's, no, not so much insider trading, but, because that's criminal, right? Not so much insider trading, but think about industries that boom in a season of an economic slump. Every other industry falls apart, but this industry booms. Like, remember during coronavirus, there was a slump in many industries. Like within textiles, there was a slump because people were not buying textiles anymore. There was a slump in perhaps skincare industries because people were not buying skincare products as much anymore. People lost jobs, businesses closed down. Most people were enduring a slump. But did the pharmaceuticals industry not burgeon during that season? Because people needed more meds, because more people were being sick. Right? And the food industry, because people were sitting at home, essentially kind of gathering dust, unable to travel outward, ate a whole lot more. They ordered a lot more food, and they were also buying in bulk. You will remember how during coronavirus, grocery stores literally ran out of things like toilet paper because people were just freaked out that they're gonna run out of toilet paper for what reason we don't know. Okay, the whole toilet paper thing always just caught me off guard. I never got what that was about. But there are certain industries that just boomed because of the panic, but others, of course, slumped. So the industries that, and then the online space for shopping also burgeoned. Like online stores popped up out of like all over the show. There was this one chick speaking about how it is that she moved her bakery online. She sold her things online and delivered them by courier to people's houses. Her bakery where she used to bake goods, and she was surprised at how well it thrived when it went online, because she was expecting that because her bakery was like a four-nose that opens and people come in and they buy baked goods, that she would lose her business. But then she decided that she's going to keep selling her stuff but online, and she thrived even more in the online space with courier and whatnot. And then there was just like an uptake of telecommunications services like Wi-Fi routers and houses. There are certain industries that boom when others fall apart in the middle of a disaster that strikes. In war, all industries are taxed, including food. In war, all industries are taxed. Agriculture, blah, 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 farming, everything plunges. But listen, weapons manufacturing companies thrive in a war. So there are certain things that benefit from certain economic crises while everybody else goes through hell on earth. And in South Africa, because we're undergoing the spiritual war, there are certain other people who are able to thrive thanks to the corruption. And they are making a chunk of money insofar as they will capitalize on the South African man or woman's discovery of the fact that, listen, it doesn't have to get this crazy expensive. I don't have to go and buy my groceries at Macro. I don't have to buy my groceries at Walmart is opening in these streets. Basop, Walmart, you come into South Africa. Basop, because you're going to go through this too. I said the other day, why is Game closing? I said the other day, why are certain of your foodstuffs or products that you have come to love gone? Why are they discontinued? I did a video of that nature. There are certain things that are being discontinued from the South African market. Mum perfume or mum spray deodorant. My mom was lamenting the last bits of it are gone. This other one, hair product, their castor oil that I bought, their Kavel. Why are certain things no longer even being manufactured? It's because something is happening to this economy, y'all. Something is happening to the South African economy, and the mainstream economy is suffering, but the underground underdogs, the brothers, but here, they are thriving because they are realizing that the South African market does not have to lose Bawan chocolate. They don't have to lose Temple. They don't have to lose Mum. They don't have to lose essentially household brands that have been around for a minute, but now they can't sell them anymore because they're being discontinued. they just have to sell them somewhere else. They are realizing that they have to sell them somewhere else for reasonable prices, because where do they buy them? The problem isn't corruption. It's like a bucket. The nation is supposed to feed itself, and yet it's not. Because those who line their pockets, because they're lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. These monstrosities and all their greed are causing South African brands to close shop. Mamela, Black Like Me, or Cavo, or Beacon Chocolate. They're a manufacturer of food in and of themselves. But if any individual product from any of these brands disappears, the fault is not even so much that of the lack of demand for the Black Like Me product. The problem is in those who sell this product, those who resell it. The problem is the resale. The issue is the retailers and the wholesalers. The issue is not the manufacturer of the product, but those that resell the product. Because if Nike tries to Black Like Me hair food for 15 rand, and then next week I have to buy it for 32 bucks, based on what, bugger? Based on what? Is Black Like Me producing the product, manufacturing it for that much more? Is it costing more? Is the machinery breaking down? In the season and in the climate of automation that has cheapened production, in the season of mass production, in the season of scaling, in the season of outsourcing of materials being that much cheaper, when you've got all these smart people able to not only outsource materials but automation of manufacturing product, why would Black Like Me need to sell their hair food to the wholesaler and the retailer? Why would they need to sell it to them for a markup when they are automating? So if they are corrupt, they will then sell it to the wholesaler for a ridiculous amount of money. But if they're not corrupt and they maintain their prices at a decent price, what's hurting them then are the retailers and the wholesalers. So we don't know where this telephone is broken. We don't know where the corruption starts. We don't know if it's at production lines, at actual manufacturers, the brand owners themselves, or if the issue is in those who resell. Because I am not going to buy your product. If last year I bought it for 50 bucks and now I'm buying it for 250 rand, I don't know why. I'm buying it for 250 bucks. So all these products getting discontinued in South Africa. Like I said, if the corruption is not at the production manufacturer, if it's not with Black Like Me, if it is not with the makers of Beacon Chocolate, who I think is Tiger Brands, I could say, if the problem is not in the manufacturer but in the reseller, they need to go and hold each other on some. But why are you selling my product for 32 bucks? Maybe you might think that in so selling a product for 32 bucks when last week it was selling for 5 rands, maybe you might think that I can also afford as Black Like Me to increase prices that I sell to the reseller because they are selling my product for this much money. But when then customers stop demanding your product because it's too expensive and they find alternatives because everybody's going through hell on earth, Honey Bumblebee, understand this very much. Comprehend this little thing or this big thing. Somewhere along the way, somebody's going to wake up and smell the coffee and then offer Black Like Me an opportunity to resell their products somewhere else. Insofar as Black Like Me will be willing to let their products be sold at like some informal places. Insofar as they're willing to go and retract or recant stuff, their things from Dis-Chem shelves, and then are willing to go and sell it in some underground, undermarket joint, go Chinatown, it's fine. You'll still be able to make. But how many mainstream brands in these streets are willing to be removed from the shelves of Clicks and Dis-Chem and Pick n Pay to be sold somewhere with some dirty China mart? How many? It's about reputational damage. It's about brand image. And so because their brand image is going to be tarnished, they then keep onto their horses. But for instance, the Cable hair food AI castor oil that was discontinued from Dis-Chem, according to my mom, apparently there were certain other pharmaceutical stores that still sold it. So essentially the problem here in also Dis-Chem refusing to sell it anymore was because it was not selling good Dis-Chem. Was did the product suddenly lose popularity? No, my mom and I liked it so much and my mom went and bought the last few units of it because is it that customers don't like it, or is it that the price was getting ridiculous, or the perception of it was dwindled in the eyes of customers because it was so cheap and yet it had such high quality ingredients in it? So that then speaks to the classist minds of South African shoppers. Either way, something is happening in South Africa that is causing some old school McCoy brands to disappear from shelves, including entire big chunky retailers like Game. Our little buckets. Like we're a little teapot pouring out of wealth as a nation. We're a little teapot just falling apart. South Africa is falling apart as that gangsterous porous teapot. And let me show you what this porous teapot has done in the life of a poor lady. And if at all you're gonna go and grab everybody and make them poor ladies, but you don't give them understanding, knowledge, and instruction as to how to get theirs. If you're not gonna help poor ladies figure out how to get theirs, these poor ladies will think, Uti, I guess I must just go hungry, as opposed to hunt for a place to go and eat kahle. Ukudla engathi kuyabonakala la emugqwana la emostradi. Okay. Well, God made me industrious so as a matter of survival. If at all you want to survive but don't want to die, if you want to survive Starvation of the poor, survival of the fittest, because you think you're Darwin? Yeah, that's what's good. If you're gonna make the food industry like a Darwinic model where may those who can afford to buy bread for 20,000 rands eat. But everybody else, a quart of wheat for a denarius, 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. Do not harm the oil and the wine. There are people who are exploiting the corruption of the South African market. And these people are not South African, which is why the country in totality is going to pass away. They're exploiting the corruption of the South African market. There's a whole bunch of Indians who, yes, indeed are South African, but they're smart enough to see that there's lots and lots of corruption in like big, chunky mainstream retail. Enough for them to sell you Bluetooth headsets for 250 bucks, knowing that at Hi-Fi Corporation, you're going to buy them for 350. But if you go on the online market, you will find them for 140. So they are already predatorily pricing, but at a lower price than mainstream South African markets. Stores that we have come to love, adore, and respect are struggling to continue to make bank. But it's only because people are not demanding their products as much anymore, because demand is based on an ability to be able to afford. You understand? Demand is driven by price in some people. And so therefore they will stop demanding something if at all the price becomes too high. Though their need for it is still there. Their need for it is there, but the demand is reduced by the inability to afford it. And if at all you keep on pushing prices up, higher and higher, to line the pockets of crazy corporate executives that are just increasing their wealth, just walking around in all of its fatso disposition. And so because everybody else is going to be emaciated while other people get nice and chubby. Alright, very well. Where it is that a shop, a supermarket in South Africa that is Chinese owned but using South African brand. This here shop where I bought these things is owned by a South African colored woman, and she is exploiting the corruption of mainstream retail. But how many South Africans are smart enough like that colored lady to open her own little discount at a Chinatown? How many? Not many. So South African empowerment would happen if South Africans were to wake up and smell the coffee, and so therefore essentially become the big fat chunky competition of macro. But remember what I said, big business like macro, big food like macro, or big food like Pick and Pay, like Check Us, tends to drive out small to medium enterprises where it is that they're at, because people are classist and they operate by perception. Like, have you ever lived in the car seat where it is that all along you've been out purchasing your stuff from them spaza shops, right? And then next thing supermarket, but Solomon supermarket on the same street. Understand that all those spaza shops that sell sugar, shukili, all those spaza shops that sell coffee, all those spaza shops that sell mazimba, all those spaza shops that sell maybe ikota, they must be good for that. Mara, all those spaza shops they sell a cigarette, they sell whatever, lollipop, whatever it is that you can buy from a supermarket. Just by mere virtue of classism and the perceived better quality of shopping from a supermarket, abantu are gonna flood to the supermarket to go and get all their daily needs. To go and get they will go and get their burodo, go supermarketing, and then just enjoy Mam Doreen's spaza until Mam Doreen's spaza, Mam Doreen is here because she's lost customers. Because Boots Solomon opened the supermarket in the same neighborhood. People are gonna underestimate this Mam Doreen. They will travel, they will walk all the way to Boots Solomon's supermarket. So if you've got a big business, you are going to naturally, on that day, by mere virtue of being as big as you are, drive out smaller enterprises in the midst where you are at. So South Africans that are wise, that are smart, would indeed be in right position to out here sell stuff that is just retailing for ridiculous amounts of money at like a Woolies, a Pick and Pay, a Checkers and whatnot for cheaper. But chances are if they open these small little spazaikis of theirs in their own little backyards as a small to medium enterprise, people are always going to just drive by them in favor of the macro. They will do that. People are going to just drive right by them in favor of the macro because it's just human psychology. It's how they operate. That though Mam Doreen might be a lot cheaper than Boots Solomon stuff at the supermarket, people just want to go to the supermarket. They just want to go to the supermarket. Do you understand? So where then would be the wisdom in this particular instance? The wisdom would be in creating a bazaar of a supermarket looking like type store, and then getting all these little small to medium enterprises selling from inside this one bazaar big building that looks like a macro. Then on that day, macro will be given competition, but the competition it will be given will be from multiple, like a cooler 100 small little spazas inside however one big retail establishment right next door to macro that will cause people to go there because it just looks like one big fat supermarket next to macro, as opposed to Mam Doreen selling out of her own little house with a small little fence, burglar proofing. to protect herself from theft and whatnot, from shrinkage, etc. That's the only way. And this colored lady, okay, if I'm gonna resell stuff, I'm not gonna do very well if I try to put myself right next to like Eastgate Mall, or if I just try to put myself next to like my small little shop or in my own house. Nobody's gonna come and knock on my door when I say that I sell L'Oreal products. While L'Oreal has got no issues with her selling their products insofar as she bought them legally from a reseller or whatever, not a reseller, but a wholesaler or a manufacturer, a plant, like a production company or whatever. What I'm getting at is that insofar as they were legally purchased, L'Oreal don't have no issues with you reselling it, because at the end of the day, they've made their sales. They have made their sales from production. Now it's your prerogative to go and resell it for a profit. Oh, macro. So L'Oreal doesn't mind if you resell their products from wherever, insofar as you buy from them. They've already made their big buck, right? Yeah, tough establishment thing. So this lady knows that it's unlikely that a person's gonna come vitamin C serum too. All that you will succeed to do is maybe let your colleagues know that, listen, I sell these L'Oreal products, it's the real deal. Listen, I sell these, what you might call this, a Garnier products, it's the real deal. Listen, I sell this, it's the real deal, it's the real deal, it's the real deal, but you're gonna have a hard time. It's gonna be like, remember Honey back in the day? That jewelry brand, it was just so rough to sell that stuff. Like a Honey, or Avon, representatives, spokespeople, like Avon ambassadors, whatever they used to call them. It was just so hard. You would like give up because, you have to keep being like, listen, I sell Honey jewelry. Listen, I do this. Listen, I sell Avon products. Listen, I sell Justine products. You're better off if you open your own little Justine store and people come in. You're better off if you open your own Avon store and people come in. You're better off if people demand your product enough for them to get on their vehicles and drive to you. You've done well. You have done well. But you're not going to do well if you're some small little, enterprise that sells these products right next to a big one that also sells the same products. People are going to choose to go to the big place unless, like I say, you do what the colored lady that sells these products did, where it is that she rents a space inside a Chinatown where people go knowing that they're going to find bargain ponzela prices, stuff like violently marked down. Yeah. And amidst all the stores there, some sell cell phones, some sell this, some sell the other. Yeah, she sells, however, beauty products. She is able to get more or less the same number of customers that Dis-Chem would get by simply looking herself like she's a massive supermarket. She just looks like another store inside Clearwater Mall. But instead of it being Clearwater Mall, it is this China Mart joint. She's got a place where she sells, like I said, from Thursday to Sunday. It's in our neighborhood. And then other days of the week, she goes to another place that also sells these things, right? So it's a smart business model, and I bet that woman, I wouldn't be surprised if she's a millionaire, even though she looks like a pretty simple colored lady. I wouldn't be surprised if her shop turns over millions per month, because mamela, as soon as you find that store out, which my mom did, there's no turning back. My mom does not buy her skincare anymore at Dis-Chem. Neither do I, because of finding that place out. But I found it first and I introduced my mom to it, and now that's where she shops too. Yeah, Mara, that colored lady, right, and her business model is rare. Like she does not represent all South Africans. She does not represent suffocated, annoyed, irritated South Africans dealing with price inflation issues. She does not represent the majority of business owners in this country. She is a small minority of somebody that is essentially exploiting the corruption of the country. She knows where she gets these things from and where it is that she purchases them. She buys them for such low prices that she can afford to up to double, not even up to double, sometimes even triple the price of the same product at a Dis-Chem. Sell them for that much in her shop. So what is the markup then at Dis-Chem? If this lady can sell Garnier products for half, if not a quarter of the price, how much is she getting them for? And with her reducing the price the way that she reduces it, she must therefore, it's a market, right? She must be making enough for her to be content to price these things in this way. And the prices don't go up, dog. I've been shopping there for the past 3 years now. And there is this wonderful Dr. Rochelle hyaluronic acid that fluctuates on Take-A-Lot. Prices increase on Take-A-Lot. Mara, hers never increased. It's been 100 rands for 3 years. The products have been the same price for years. Something that was 75 rands 3 years ago is still 75 rands this year. Meaning that no matter what happens to the economy, she is somehow unaffected. No matter what happens to the economy, she is unaffected. Whether we go through a slump, whether we go through a boom. There was a time when she took a holiday off for 2 weeks at Kuala Shop. She can afford to Kuala her shop for 2 weeks, angathembi muntu, to take care of the shop when she's gone. My mom went there, at my risk, because I wasn't sure if she was gonna be there. Because kadi holiday if you can completely, if you can afford ukuvali shop yakho, like all together, without even leaving somebody there to keep selling on your behalf. It says that you're making so much money that you can afford the losses of closing your entire establishment for 2 whole weeks. Now in terms of that a lot of South Africans just aren't getting around to tlhaloganyeng, and she is exploiting the corruption of this country. She is exploiting the corruption of this country, because what else can she do? When a nation is so corrupt and you can't stand up on a podium and you're watching it impoverish everybody, all you can do is survive for as long as you will be left to survive in a nation that is facing judgment from God. So herein lies this idiot Butmalisa guy that says that I will never shop again. And I went shopping today, so all the best, baga, right? Mara, this man that said I will never shop again is among these massive tycoons in this country that are bleeding everybody dry, that are impoverishing the poor, that take for granted that the poor don't shop online, and so can't compare prices, and are predatorily pricing a basic stuff that these people need on our supermarket shelves, and so therefore are lining their pockets with money that the poor already don't have. And those that can afford to hedge can also afford to buy their more expensive things, and yet they don't. Those that would benefit the most from exploiting other markets can't even exploit them, precisely because they're poor. And when then you leave the poor out on a list, that's when God comes for you, Gadijerisi, and everything. That's when God comes for you, Gadijerisi. So let me show you what I bought. My drinks, right? Okay, let me first show you the skincare tag. I buy my mamelang. I buy my skincare on Temu. I prefer to buy my skincare on Temu because Temu's skincare is on another level. If you know how to shop for skincare. So when it comes to buying things like retinol, when it comes to buying things like hyaluronic acid, when it comes to buying things like skincare actives that deal with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, like dark spots, like really, what's the word that I am looking for? Like designer skincare, the kind that would out here be recommended by a really gifted dermatologist, maybe even recommended by an esthetician. You are not going to find that kind of skincare cheap at Discam. What do they sell cheap? At Spa, at Discam, at Pick n Pay, Checkers, at Lix, Pons, Cuticura, Gentle Magic. Basically skincare that we as black people have been using for a minute, that has given us the chubaba all throughout the ages. Also, the ingredients, you would need to be essentially trained through a dermatologist if you watch enough videos on YouTube as to what to use in order to clear or fade dark spots. You are likely going to get advice on YouTube from somebody that has studied skincare enough for them to either from experience give you their own nitbits, or from watching other doctors and dermatologists give advice, or you're going to get it from doctors and dermatologists or from estheticians. And if you listen to enough of it, just a cocktail of these people on YouTube, you will get a well-rounded understanding as to how to deal with your acne, how to deal with your this, how to deal with your that, right? Which is what I did for a season, because I come from a time where I had not only acne, but I was not using sunscreen, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, I've come a long way. I've improved. I'm like, Sisi Nana, I'm a grown child. I'm a Kihudile, I've matured. Yeah, type establishment thing. Okay, now that kind of skincare that's gonna out here be showing you beautiful, lovely things for, and truly actually succeeding to fade dark spots, to fade dark circles, stuff that is gonna succeed to actually, like, you know, mask how yawning large your pores are, stuff that's actually going to fade. I made mention of fading dark spots, stuff that's actually going to plump up your skin, bring back youthful vibrance, rejuvenate you. No, that kind of skincare, like, first and foremost, you have to be kind of trained, educated, you have to be instructed by people that know what they're talking about. So dermatologists, estheticians, and people with just know-how, industry know-how in this particular regard. And when then you find out, this is what you need, you will find yourself frustrated when you're suffering, which is what was the case with me in the beginning. I used to use benzoyl peroxide to deal with acne, but then I noticed that it was just aging me at like a ridiculous rate. And I wanted to get off benzoyl peroxide and find something else, and it took quite a lot of trial and error for me to find this coin a skincare regimen that is sensitive to the fact that I'm getting older, and also sensitive to the fact that I'm acne prone. I needed to get rid of acne without benzoyl peroxide. I did not want to use a benzoyl peroxide for the rest of my days. I say it and I say it time and time again, benzoyl peroxide is for teenagers are just struggling a lot with acne, and young adults up to maybe the age of 25. But once you start to lose collagen, get off benzoyl peroxide. And I noticed that while benzoyl peroxide kept my acne at bay, it was just not doing very much for me in terms of anti-aging. And benzoyl peroxide goes to war with other actives that are anti-aging, so you can't use it with retinol, you can't use it with vitamin C, you can't, because then it's just going to oxidize the retinol, it's just going to counteract the effect of those actives. So I was like, listen, I need to get rid of benzoyl peroxide, find me something else.